We're riding out to check on the results from our last video where we did the experiment with the hay. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch the previous video, and then you can come back and watch this one.
What do you think, Landon?
It's good.
It's good.
Landon wanted to come check it out with us. So here's what we're left with. This was our haylage bale. It had a bunch of Johnson grass in it. It looks like they picked around the Johnson grass.
The reason all that Johnson grass is in there is that's a new hayfield that we have taken over, and by the time we got to it, it was full of Johnson grass. We'll spray it next year, but that's why we don't like mature Johnson grass. You see what happens? They don't eat it. It's tough for them. It's real steamy. Johnson grass is fine for hay if you cut it when it's young and not mature, but I mean I wouldn't want to eat that.
Nah, it's like wheat straw.
So, they probably ate all the good hay in that bale if they could.
You can see the ground was in real good shape. It rained a good bit since we put that hay out, so it's actually still in pretty good shape, all things considered. So this was our dry bale of hay.
Crabgrass.
Same thing. They scattered a little bit of hay out of here, but I would say they ate 95% of that bale,
At least,
or
yeah.
maybe 98%. So looks like the dry bale and the hay ring worked out well. We'll come over here where we rolled out. So this was our dry bale right through here. They're coming to check us out. So it looks like they did a good job, pretty good job eating the dry bale. You can see they pooped on it some, but it's also kind of scattered the poop throughout the pasture a little bit. Come on down here and then it kind of disappears. So they did a good job cleaning that one up, but I would say not as good.
Probably 80-85%.
Yeah, they're probably eating 80 to 85% of that, and they may come back and nibble on a little bit more of it. Last, we'll go over and check out the other haylage.
I would say there's probably at least 10% waste on that, just that's been pooped on.
So our other haylage bale kind of ran through here, went towards the fence. There's a little bit left here. We've got some left down here. All in all, I'd say what they ate. 85 to 90% of that one.
Of the haylage.
Yeah, maybe not quite that much.
Well, you know, I mean, considering that what's left is Johnson grass.
This one had some more Johnson grass in it.
You know, it's hard to say on that because they left it because of the quality of the grass, not because of pooping and peeing on it. Really, the only difference I see, they cleaned up more than I thought. You're going to waste a little bit more, but rolling it out, kind of like what we thought. When you concentrate feeding in one spot, you do get a lot of tracks, and in one area, a lot of poop, a lot of disturbance to the topsoil in one area. You don't see the ground disturbance when you roll it out, but you waste a little hay when you roll it out. So I guess pick your poison.
It looks to me like the hay ring, obviously the dry hay and the hay ring did the best. So,
but if we would have put a bale of that ryegrass haylage out in the hay ring, they would have eaten it just like the dry. Can't knock them for not eating Johnson grass. Boys and girls.
Y'all still snacking a little bit? the one red cow that we own.
She grows a stud calf.
What's your overall synopsis?
You can look back on some of the other parts of the video and see where they ate on the rolled out hay. They ate it up better than I expected. There's definitely more waste. I would say 10 to 15% more waste on rolled out hay versus hay in the hay ring. And I know a lot of you are going to prefer that method, but as we'll show you in next week's video, we put out, let's see, we do 11 or 12 bales 2 to 3 times a week, and that's half of the cattle basically. So we're putting out that amount of hay. If you're putting out 40 to 50 bales per week, you don't have time to be rolling hay out, and especially when this is our second job basically. You know, chickens they come first and cattle second. So that's why hay rings work well for us. We can take the tractor around, and if bad weather's coming in, we can stock a lot of pastures up. So to me, the trick to the hay ring is good quality hay. If you have good quality hay, they're not going to waste. They'll waste very, very little. Kind of what you see with that dry bale. They ate every bit that they could. If it wasn't basically pulled out, dropped on the ground and trampled on, they ate that. And that comes from good quality. That's the direct relation you see there in front of the tractor. Is you see hay left, that's because of bad quality. So all in all, the argument of hay rings versus rolling them out, I think everyone's operation is going to differ. And some people, when they say, well, it adds back to the ground, maybe it adds seed, maybe it adds a little soil. One thing in our operation is we have an abundance of chicken litter for fertilizer, and which in turn, if you put enough out, it's almost like adding topsoil to the land. So for us, hay rings make sense. We can stock more in a pasture. But for you guys, if you have one pasture right there at your house and you're going to feed them 2 to 3 times a week, 2 or 3 bales a week, sometimes 2 bales at the most, yeah, maybe roll them out. So see what works better for you guys. I will say this, there was not as much of waste on the rolled out bales as I thought there would be. And part of that, you know, we turned them out on fresh grass, and I can see where if you did a bale a day on a herd like that, they would eat it and not waste much. We basically just don't have time to run around all these pastures and put a bale out per day.
What would be nice is if you see the lay of our land. So there are several places that we just can't fertilize with chicken litter. So in a perfect world, if you could roll some bales of hay out there, you know, it may help grow some grass during the summer months on that part of the land. But all in all, I think hay rings, but you know, not opposed to rolling out some bales here and there if we need to feed cows that way also.
Yeah, I don't think there's a right or a wrong answer. I think it's just figure out what works for you and what's the most, you know, efficient with your time. And as long as you're not wasting a lot of hay. The most we waste is from bad quality hay. It's not from the way we feed it. It's just, if it's not good when it puts in, it's kind of like you. If you're eating and it's not good, you're going to throw it away. And unless you're really hungry, and that's the way it works with cows too. So let us know what you guys think. Leave it in the comments what you think we did right, what you think we did wrong, what you guys, how you like to feed, and we'll go from there. What do you think?
Well, I hope that we're done feeding hay before too long.
How much more do you think we got?
Our hay supply is not dwindling, but
dwindling?
Yeah.
We sold a decent amount of hay, and this is the first year we've really sold much hay. But we picked up an additional hay field, so we had extra. And there's kind of a chess game there to figure out how much to sell, not to sell too much, but to sell enough. So it's always a moving target. Well, let's move a few hay rings, and to answer your question of what we like, I'm going to put hay rings out and put more hay out. So that's just our preference. Good luck, guys.